Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I'm going to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles, the hirings, everything, a lot of information. Don't know how long this video is going to be, but I want to go over some free agents as well that come to our attention from interest for the Philadelphia Eagles. So there's a lot going on, but finally the Eagles have both of their coordinators. Let's get into this update. What is going on, guys? So finally, the coaching staff is finally together. There's going to be a couple more questions with some of the positional coaches, but when it comes down to it, the Eagles have both of their guys, and Sean Desai is the new defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Brian Johnson as the OC, which we already kind of knew that already, as the time was kind of moving around a little bit. So they announced both of these guys at the same time. We knew Brian Johnson was the OC because they weren't really interviewing any other OCs. This job for defensive coordinator was really down to Sean Desai and Leonard Wilson, which I thought Leonard Wilson was going to get the job. So somebody, whoever put the $100 comment down below on my last video that I thought Leonard Wilson was going to get hired, you will receive that $100 as soon as I find out the name on that. So I feel good. I feel really comfortable. I feel good. Obviously, we need to, obviously once we get this roster together, we put it to work during OTAs and training camp, and then really just see what happens, see this whole thing flourish, okay? Now, obviously, the coaching staff, everybody's at the Combine right now. The Combine, I think, starts on Thursday, so there's a lot going on right now. There's going to be a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff being talked about between teams on certain players getting traded, or this is the time where not only are you looking at, draft prospects, but you're hearing a lot of rumors about, where GMs kind of get together and talk about deals or trades or something like that. So that's pretty much it with that. But, the other coaching hires that are in place as of right now, you have Alex Tanney. He's actually an ex-Giants receiver, now the quarterback coach. You have Marcus Brady finally has a job with the Eagles now as an offensive assistant, which is good because remember, Marcus Brady came, helped the offense, later in the season. They brought him in. He was with the Colts. And, I felt like Steichen did a lot better later in the season, and Marcus Brady could have been a big part of that, and helping Gannon with the offensive fronts and how to defend, these, I don't know why he was there to help Gannon in the first place or what was going on. But Marcus Brady is finally a part of this coaching staff with the offense, which is great. And then you have TJ Paganetti, which he is the run game specialist and tight ends coach. Now with Leonard Wilson right now, and Sirianni did say at the Combine that Leonard Wilson, they don't know what's going on with him yet, if he's going to stay as the cornerbacks coach because he didn't get the DC job, or he is going to leave. Yet to determine on that. I don't even think we have a linebacker coach right now to replace Nick Rallis as he went to Arizona for the defensive coordinator job. So I think those two spots are still iffy, up in the air right now. But we'll find out. They'll fill those spots as soon as they possibly can. Now, Nick Sirianni did talk a lot at the Combine about, the new hiring process. Hiring Sean Desai. What does he bring to the table? Talks about almost the same scheme as Gannon, but obviously disguising coverages, which I thought Gannon was going to do a lot of. With the run game, obviously disguising pass coverages and stuff like that. So what you're getting with Sean Desai right now is really a coach that had a lot of success. Is really an apprentice under Vic Fangio as a defensive quality control guy for the Bears for a few years. And then in 2021, he took the DC job and really took not much talent on that Bears defense and, sacrificed some of that team and, had one of the best defenses that year with not really much talent on that defense. And that's why I have to respect Sean Desai and what he'll do with this defense going forward. And it should be really exciting. I know that was 2021, but, it's a prime example when you have less talent on your team and players really can't bail you out. You have to be more aggressive in certain situations. You can't just sit back. I think that's the kind of thing that Nick was talking about. If you guys remember, Nick and Howie Roseman at the end of the year press conference after the Super Bowl, they did talk about really wanting a different defensive philosophy going into next season. And I think you're going to get that with Sean Desai. Now, it looks like as of right now that he will be Nick Sirianni is going to let Sean Desai pick his own coaching staff. I think the whole cornerback coach right now in the situations with Denard Wilson, it looks like Sean Desai, Nick Sirianni is going to let Sean pick his own coaching staff from what he said at the presser today, the presser the other day at the combine. So Sean Desai might be picking his own coaches, maybe some guys from Seattle. We'll find out when the time comes. I think they're going to put all the control into Sean's hands with the coaching staff, with his defense, which isn't a bad thing. Guys that he knows, guys that he works well with. I think that makes a lot of sense, which is pretty cool. But Howie Roseman, had a lot to say about this team, and talked about obviously the free agent process and what's going on with that. And I think when it comes down to it, Roseman pretty much was like, we can't sign everybody. Obviously, we already knew that, but the one thing I have to say is that he did specify that he has full control of what happens this offseason. Now, Nick and Howie Roseman have a collaborative process, but at the end of the day, Howie Roseman has the final say. And I think the past couple seasons, guys, the past couple off seasons, I think Howie Roseman, I think these were the first really 2 years where he had really full control and he wasn't bumping heads with Jeffrey Lurie and Andy Weidel in the past and more people that were in front of him on picks, So, I think it's really changed for the better, and I think maybe Howie. And I know Howie Roseman has obviously picked some bad players, but there's definitely a lot that were probably out of his hands as well when it comes to the ownership of this team as well too. So, I'm ready for another offseason with Howie Roseman. Really did a fantastic job last year. What I love about Howie Roseman so much is that if he can't make a trade, if he misses out on a player, he always has an answer. He always comes back swinging. He doesn't give up. He stays aggressive, and that's what I really like about him, because he's not. If he's not eyeing one guy, he's eyeing 10 other guys to fill that spot, and that's a really good thing. Obviously, he mentioned the 2 first-round picks, how important they are to build this roster, and, you're going to have to make some sacrifices this year, you want to get back to the Super Bowl. It's a really hard thing to do. He talked about Nakobe Dean. He talked about Jordan Davis. He just said, both of these guys are going to be impacts next year. There's no doubt. Jordan Davis, the high ankle sprain really killed us, because I thought, Jordan Davis was really coming into his own, and then after when he got hurt, they signed Linval, they signed Ndamukong Suh, and then, and then when Jordan Davis came back, it was even better. The depth on the defensive line was fantastic, so a lot of decisions are going to have to get made. Jordan Davis going to his second year, the conditioning's got to get better. He just has to get better, period, and I think he will, guys. I'm not saying I'm not really looking for him to be a pass rusher at all. I'm looking for him to obviously take on the double teams and be really good against the runs. The statistics won't really pop out when you look at Jordan Davis, but what he did last year before his injury, I thought he played really well. And, I think another offseason, another year, and hopefully he learned a lot last year. And with Nakobe Dean, this is the guy that Howie Roseman called on the phone during the draft and was like, "You ready to win some championships?" Because Nakobe Dean has a championship mentality. He's a field general. Whatever chances that he has taken when we were up in these games by double digits or whatever, and he got his chance to play in this defense, he made plays. He took advantage of he flashes and flashes. Nakobe Dean could start for another team right now. And I think him sitting in the room with Nick Rallis this past year, soaking and sponging everything in, has really helped him as a player, and I think he has learned a lot. He's played special teams all year, you know what it is, but this is the Nakobe Dean era now. He's a third-round pick. He was pissed off that he got drafted pretty damn low, and he's going to have a big chip on his shoulder this year, and Howie Roseman really expects, he spoke very highly of these two, that both of these guys are really going to be good next year, so hopefully there's a lot of promise to that, and I'm really happy with that. We found out news about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which is the best news we've heard in a while. We didn't know if he's going to get franchise tag signed. I think, guys, that they're not going to put the franchise tag. I could be wrong, but it really sounds like they are trying to get a deal done, a long-term deal done. Okay. So far, the news is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is the main priority for the Philadelphia Eagles to get a long-term extension done, which is great. I'm actually really excited to see what Sean Desai will actually do at the safety position, and I honestly think the Eagles are trying to add more to it since Marcus Epps is walking the free agency, which I really haven't heard much about him, and then Reed Blankenship, when Chauncey got hurt, Reed came in, and, is 1 year really enough, but did he give us a really good sample size of what he could do? Sure. But making Chauncey like the main priority, other than Jalen Hurts' contract, Chauncey is the main priority of this. I mean, he's 24, 25 years old. I mean, really young, and I mean, he's just the embodiment of Philadelphia. I mean, he represents. He's got that pushback mentality. You got to love the plays that he's made, and Lily making that transition to nickel to safety. He didn't really flash when we traded for him. He didn't really flash too much when he got here, but as the weeks went on, he got better. He tied the league in interceptions, top in interceptions, and has been a fantastic player for us. So, I mean, you have to sign him long-term and get that done as fast as possible if you can. And if you guys didn't know, like, when you even talk about even the safety position in general, like, there's already news coming out that the Eagles aren't even done. Even if they sign Chauncey to a long-term extension, there's already news about Josh Johnson, literally getting released by the Browns, and he's only 24 years old right now. And apparently the Eagles and a bunch of other teams are interested. So the Eagles might add a free safety, another young safety to this group of guys, which is fantastic. And I wouldn't mind some change. I wouldn't mind some competition. Bring some competition in for Reed Blankenship and whoever else is going to be playing in that safety spot. I definitely welcome it. So Josh Johnson is definitely there for the taking for the Philadelphia Eagles. They might be in a little bit of a bid war. We'll see how far it goes, but it looks like they're not done at safety, guys. It looks like they're trying to sign another free agent safety as well to kind of shore up that, with Nakobe Dean being at linebacker, put it up, pairing him up with another player at linebacker, and then really working on, James Bradbury's walking. So you have 2 first-round picks, and you have a lot of cornerbacks in this draft, and your defensive line needs a few pieces to see what they're going to do with these contracts with Hargrave and Cox, and what's going to happen with the rest of this team with BG and the rest of that defensive line. And obviously Derek Barnett as well, because I think he should go. So they're trying to shore up the back end. They could have a lot of interest. I don't think the interest in Josh Johnson is about Chauncey leaving or them not signing him and we're just going to sign Josh Johnson. No, I think they want to add to it. I think they want to get another prime starter in here. And just see what happens. Like, I haven't followed Josh Johnson's whole career. I know he played with the Rams before he did with the Browns. But to add more bodies is a fantastic thing. To add more competition is a fantastic thing. But you got to think of it this way, too, because Chauncey can move from nickel to safety. They can move him around the field, and they love doing that. And I think Sean Desai is going to have a really good time moving Chauncey around on some blitzes or doing whatever he wants with him for run support, which is going to be great, and coverage. So, you could move Reed Blankenship over, have Josh Johnson play. I mean, there's so much that you could do right now, especially, like I said, Chauncey could play nickel and safety, so it comes hand in hand where you can add another safety, and you'll have a plan A and a plan B, and if someone gets hurt at safety, you move Chauncey back. Like, there's the opportunities are endless when it comes to that position, because Chauncey can play both, which is great. So hopefully more news comes out of that. Now, it's already been kind of specified, like Howie Roseman did talk about Kenneth Gainwell already, and I don't know, they're making it seem like he's like the lead back for next year. And look, I was very happy with Kenny G when he, his postseason was fantastic. He just, he was just amazing, and just running with the football in his hands, the aggressiveness, but is it enough, though? That's the only question I have going into all of this. And I really like Kenny G a lot. Boston Scott's a free agent right now. You have Kenneth, you have, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. I don't know why I just had a brain fart. I don't know if Trey Sermon is still here. Kennedy Brooks is still on the practice squad. He came back, and I really want to see more of Kennedy Brooks a lot. So we'll see what happens, man. Like, there's going to be a lot going on with the running back position. And I know the Eagles are not putting money into this position because we already got the sad news right now. The sad news already came out about Miles Sanders, that he's not returning to this team. It's not happening. The news already came out. The Eagles are going to let Miles Sanders hit the free agent market. It sucks, guys. Like, I'm going to be really upset. Like, hopefully he's not in the NFC East, but I'm going to be really upset when he goes because, man, like, I'm so pissed at this situation because the Eagles have underutilized him so much in his 4 years here, and it really pisses me off. I thought Doug Peterson used Miles Sanders the best his rookie year when they had him in the pass game, when they ran wheel routes with him and had him mismatched on linebackers. He's a dual-threat running back. He could have done so much more, and obviously he had so much tread on him because he barely ran in 2020 with Doug. Doug got fired. Nick came in, started calling the plays. For 6-7 games, they barely ran the football. Like, he had so much tread. So by the 2021 season, he ended up getting hurt a couple times, and it was kind of too late for him to really embrace himself. And then once he was fully healthy for the 22 season, he got 1,000 yards for the first time. He's got a lot of tread left. He's got a long career ahead of him because of those 2 years that he really barely even got the ball. Even this past year, even in 22, there was 5-6 games they didn't run with Miles Sanders, barely in the first half, barely utilized him in the first half, and why we questioned it so much and why they were passing so much. And I understand that Nick talked about this offense, and the offense runs through Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert. I understand that, but man, like, there were some games that really pissed me off where they just, it was 3 and out, kept passing the football and not giving Miles a chance. And it was even into the Super Bowl, they barely even gave him the ball. And there was like rumors about a concussion and all this crap that was going on. So all I got to say is if he walks, do not be mad at Howie Roseman. Like, you know what we're at stake for right now. I think Kelsey is staying. I think Cam Jurgens is staying at right guard. And I think we're perfectly fine on the offensive line. Just got to add some depth pieces. But I can't be mad at Howie Roseman for this. When you have an offensive lineman, if you have offensive linemen like this and you could plug in healthy running backs, you don't have to put money into that running back position. That's why going after a running back with the 10th overall pick is just like, if they got Bijan or they got another running back, like I wouldn't really care too much. Like, I'd be like, okay, let's just see what happens. Like, it would be a great move, but because of how many free agents defensively we have and what they kind of got to fill there, we'll see what happens. We'll see what Howie does. If Howie is able to kind of fill this roster defensively, your offense is going to look pretty good having a top 10 running back from this draft. So we'll see. It really depends on the moves that Howie Roseman does from now until the draft and then until the first day on the draft. And then it might make more sense by that time. But we'll just have to see. Miles is going to walk. I can't be mad. If Hargrave walks, I can't be mad. I can't be mad at any of it. Samalo's definitely walking. It is what it is, guys. This is what happens. You're not paying Hargrave $20 million a year. You're not paying Miles Sanders over 16, 17, whatever the market is for running backs right now, because you have an offensive line that could do so much. If the Eagles never put money into the trenches, then I would say, yeah, re-sign them. And if they had the money, go ahead. But they put a lot of money into both sides in the trenches, and I love building a team like that. And it's a shame because I really want Miles to stay, and he deserves the money he's getting. I just hope he's not in the NFC East. I hope he's not in anything like that. So, that's just it's crappy, man. Like, I have I'm not emotional, but yeah, I just feel like there's just so much more he could have done here, and the coaching staff, blame the coaching staff for not utilizing him so much more. It just, they made Kenny G more of the receiving back more than Miles, and I still just didn't get why they did that. And it just made no sense to me. Like, yeah, sure, like you can have Kenny G in the passing game, but put Miles in the passing game. Throw to Miles Sanders on stride, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to the house, and they just never gave it a chance. I don't know. I think they just gave every running back a certain, you're going to be getting more of the passes. You're going to be running a lot more. I don't know if they just, they didn't want everyone doing the same thing, or I'm not really sure. But Miles Sanders, I wish him the best of luck for everything. We'll definitely report what team he goes to once the time comes, but should be interesting. Then on other news with the running backs in general, too, if the Eagles want to add more to the running back position for more depth, Leonard Fournette ended up getting released by Tampa. As a bruiser back, he would come to the Philadelphia Eagles on a 1-year deal, prove yourself type deal as a rotational guy. I would say I would be fine with it, to be honest with you. But this, obviously there's no rumors on it. There's no rumors that the Eagles are linked to him at all. But who knows? I mean, the Eagles are going to be linked to every damn running back that's either a free agent, for trade, or in the draft. So I guess we got to look for that as well. But Leonard Fournette, I wouldn't mind it at all as a rotational guy you can add for a little bit of a power back in the backfield, a little bit of a bruiser, push some bodies around. It could be pretty dangerous, man. If you end up getting a running back in the top 10, plus you're getting Leonard Fournette, damn, it would be pretty crazy back there. But like I said, this is just all speculation. He is getting released by Tampa, but other than that, that's pretty much it. So it's going to be interesting. We have our coordinators now. Good stuff. Good things are happening, which is awesome. Brian Johnson, very excited for him, what he's going to do with this offense and really open the playbook a little bit more for Jalen Hurts. I mean, he made Kyle Trask a finalist for a Heisman Trophy. What he's done even at Florida as an offensive coordinator was great. So I mean, I think he's been around Hurts for a while, and I think he's going to do a really good job here. He did a lot with Dak Prescott when he was in college for his best year in college. I mean, he's done a lot of good things for some quarterbacks, and a lot of them that aren't really good right now. So, I have a lot of faith in what they're doing. And Howie Roseman, I'm excited to see the moves that he makes. I mean, the Eagles really haven't moved any money around besides Kelsey's restructure for $2.4 million. That's all they've done. They got $8-9 million right now. It's not much. They don't have much of anything. I feel like there's a couple restructures with Slay, Lane Johnson, a few things that are happening real soon. So let me know what you guys think about the coordinators. Sean Desai, how do you feel about him? What do you guys think about, obviously, what the offseason moves are going to be? Miles Sanders walking. The rumors on Josh Johnson coming to the Eagles as another safety. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting a long-term extension. He is the main priority per report. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to get something done with him and his agent, being one of the highest paid guys in the league. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here and how they fill this roster up and how they change maybe the way they do things a little bit. But the past couple off seasons have been great. Let's see if this one's even better than last. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys survived this long in the video, appreciate it so much. Definitely like the video if you guys have it, and subscribe to the channel. We'll come out with more Eagles videos every single day. Love you all, and you guys remember, Shake Squad up, follow 5. Peace out, guys. Peace.